Okay, so for this practice, it's a gentle hip opener. So I want you to begin in your butterfly pose, so bringing the bottoms of the feet together. Sit up nice and tall. Take a hold of the bottoms of the feet if you can, and play around with how close or how far away you want your heels, but just be reminded that the goal is to sit up nice and tall. It's like you have this symbiotic relationship with your hands holding you up, but also you're grounding down. And take a nice full inhale in through the nose. Sigh out the exhale. Full inhale. Exhale. One more full inhale in. And exhale. Now, staying here in your pose, I want you just to start settling into your breath. Get comfortable with taking long, big inhales and grounding exhales. So, as you take a full inhale in, maybe imagine the breath going from the right all the way up and over to the left, making a complete circuit. And try to do this 5 times and then reverse the circuit. So we have 10 big breaths together to bring ourselves to our practice today. So let's begin. Hit about my halfway point, so you might be just a little ahead or behind me. When you complete, just take a few more deep cycles of breath. And then when your next exhale happens, tuck the chin into chest, so draw a line with the nose to the ground, round the back. Really exaggerate this. And then when your inhale happens, slowly pull the chest forward, look on up once again. Make this big and exaggerated. Feel good about taking up space. And flow back and forth here. So on your exhale, rounding the back. And then as you inhale, pull your chest forward. And flow here. And then find some stillness. You can keep your butterfly pose if you would like, or find an easy pose where you just lie the legs in front of each other instead of crossing the ankle. Reach your arms up high to the sky. Set your right hand down, reach your left arm up and over. Keep your sit bones rooted down, reach up and over. Try not to let the left side lift off the ground. And we're here for 5 big breaths, so you decide where you need to take this. Let your body and your torso get really big on your inhales. And maybe every now and then throughout this practice, you sigh out the exhale. Two more breaths. And maybe on this 5th exhale, you really sigh it out. Use your inhale to guide the left arm up and down to the side, and then switch sides. So reach your right arm up nice and strong, and then exhale over towards your left side. Keep everything rooted down. Find the space where you can stay grounded, but also feel good with expanding. Okay, so it's like you're giving yourself this boundary and you can fill it up. All right, 4 more big breaths, because I'm sure you got a full round of breath in. Two more. Beautiful. Reach your arm up on your next inhale. And set both fingertips down on the exhale. Collectively, take a full inhale in. Sip in a little more air. See if you can get a little bigger. And exhale. Release. Great. All right, come into your tabletop pose here. So the knees are underneath the hips, the hands are spread underneath the shoulders. Really spread your fingers. Let your hands take up room on your mat, you know? There's no fee for rent, so you might as well take up a lot of space, right? Okay. If you want, you can pat the tops of your feet together. And then when you're ready, as you inhale, drop your belly, lift on up, tuck under your toes. And then when your exhale happens, ground the chin into chest, belly buttons into the spine, toenails push into the mat for your cat. And I want you to flow here from your cat and cow, or now you're coming into your cow, into your cat. And once again, if you want to, exaggerate and almost be dramatic with your flow, I welcome you to that, because you might discover like a sweet little movement or a sweet little spot. So what that could look like is you're really dropping the belly down and up into your cow. And then maybe you're really pushing back or sighing out as you exhale with your cat. And if you want, you can make C shapes with your spine. And then come to a point of stillness. Bring the big toes together and take the knees as wide as your mat. Set the bum back and find your child's pose for 5 big breaths here, okay? And you can sigh out the exhale every time. 2 more breaths. Last breath. And then slowly shift forward, keeping the legs wide. Tuck under your toes and find your first downward dog. So the feet are wide. Take them as wide as the mat. Press the palms into the mat and push the tailbone up. And once your hands are rooted and grounded, don't let them move, but imagine that you're turning your right hand clockwise and your left hand counterclockwise. That'll give you some sweet rotation in the shoulders. It'll help the scapulas come down and away from the ears. All right, let's take 5 big breaths here. And I really encourage you to sigh out the exhale every time. So full inhale. Sigh out the exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Full inhale. And last one. Full inhale. Exhale. And then from here, bring your feet hips distance apart. Shift forward into your plank pose. We won't be here for 5 breaths. I just want you to have a nice firm foundation. And then drop the knees, the chin, the chest, and then come up into your cobra pose. But before you come totally up, stay low. I want you to feel the tops of the feet onto the mat and engage the mat or engage the legs. And then slowly come up. And if you want, maybe you come up a little higher. You have 5 breaths here. So if that means making some movement from side to side, you can. One more breath. And then as you exhale, push back into your child's pose. Inhale into table. And then exhale into your downward dog. When your next exhale happens, walk your feet to the back of your hands into your forward fold. Okay, so it's our first forward fold. So you can sway your hands from side to side like you're making semicircles. You can bend the knees generously into a ragdoll pose. I want you to find a little movement here, and as you're doing this, just notice if you're rolling too much on the inside or the outside of the feet, and see if you can keep your feet planted and the weight even. And then find some stillness. Find your halfway lift. And then plant your hands, step back into your downward dog. Okay, take your feet wide onto the mat. Full inhale, take a full breath, fill your torso. Exhale, ground down. Practice this again. Full inhale, see if you can take up a lot of space. And then exhale, root down. As as you inhale, lift your right leg up to the sky. And then step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Keep your left heel lifted. So you're in your lizard pose. And we're here for 5 big breaths. 4. 3. 2. 1. Drop your left knee down and untuck your left toes. And then come onto the pinky edge of the right foot and slowly allow the right knee to drop off to one side. Some of us, if our hips are open, our right knee really comes down. Others of us, it's a little movement. So be where you're at. If you want, you can place your right hand to the inside of the right thigh. Stay tall on your left arm, don't dump. And you can look out over your right shoulder, staying here for 5 breaths. Three more breaths. Really allow your torso to take up space. Last breath here. And then slowly come back into your lizard pose. So planting your right foot, tuck under the left toes, lift your left knee. And then when you're ready, come back into your wide leg downward dog. You can move around. You have 5 breaths to work with this. You can stay in stillness. 4 more breaths. 3, 2, 1. Lift your left leg high. Step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Find your lizard pose. So you're bending into the left knee. You're coming into a lunge, like your runner's lunge, only the legs are a little wide here. And you're here for 5 big breaths. With these last 3 breaths, see if you can give yourself a body scan and note if you're holding tension anywhere. Maybe see on the exhale if you can encourage yourself to soften. Last breath here. And then mindfully set your left knee down. Once again, you're coming into the beginning of your corkscrew pose. So you're coming onto the left edge or the pinky edge of your left foot, placing the left hand to the inside of the left thigh, rooting down on the right arm without dumping into the right arm and looking out over your left shoulder. For 5 breaths. Two more breaths. Take up space. And then slowly find your way back into your lizard pose. So left hand to the inside of the left foot, right leg lifted. And then left foot meets your right foot, downward dog. Okay, let's use this downward dog to flow a little bit. So inhale, shift forward into your plank. Lower down. Find your back bend. And then push back into downward dog. 5 big breaths here. So if you need a child's pose, go for it, because I'll give you a 2 breath heads up. So we keep all the ducks in a row. Two more breaths. Great. As you exhale, walk your feet to the outside and behind your hands. So you're wide on your mat. You're taking up space on your mat. You're taking up space in your body. And then walk your hands forward. Come up halfway. Fold forward, heel toe the feet, hips distance apart. So that's about 2 fists in between your feet. And then find your halfway lift again. Fold forward and then reach your arms up high to the sky as you inhale. And mountain pose as you exhale. Awesome. Reach your arms up high. Fold forward. Halfway lift. Plant your hands. Your feet come back into your downward dog. Take your feet wide if you would like. I want you to feel free to take up the space you need. One more breath. And then reach your right leg high. Step your right foot through to your hands, and this time set your left heel down. And then when you're ready, place your hands onto your hips and come on up. Have your foundation, so you're a little wide. And then reach your arms up high to the sky. Keep the bend strong in the right knee. Push to the outside of the left leg. You're here for 5 breaths, so slide the shoulders down and away. If you want, you can always open up the heart or take up space by taking the arms out wide. And I always like to think of moments like this as like a bear. So if you feel like a bear right now, you can inhale and then roar on your exhale. Two more breaths, stay strong. Keep the bend strong in your knee. Bring your arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, bring your left arm to the outside of your right knee and reach your right arm out up high. So you have this fun twist going on. If you need a bind, maybe you reach your right hands for the top of your left thigh or left hip. And look out over your left shoulder. No, your right shoulder. Three more breaths. And then slowly bring yourself back up. Reach the arms up high. Plate the hands to the inside of the right foot. Spin the left heel up. Right foot meets left foot in your downward dog. Stay nice and wide. 5 big breaths here. Two more breaths. All right, from here, left leg comes high. Left foot to the outside of the left hand. Spin the right heel down. Let's create the grounding foundation so we feel good about taking up space. And then when you're ready, slowly lift your torso. Place your hands on your torso. It's like you're setting up your foundation and your boundaries. And then when you're ready, reach the arms up high. Once again, if you want to reach them out wide, spread the hands. Go for it. And we're here for 5 big breaths. With each inhale, I want you to really focus on reaching up, and with each exhale, grounding down. Even if you're roaring on your exhale. 2 more breaths. And if you took your arms wide, reach them up overhead. Same thing here. Lean forward a little bit so you can reach your right arm to the outside of the left leg. If you want to, first you can take your left arm out to a T and then slowly reach it up. And then once again, the bind option is always available. And settle in. So when I was telling you to really expand on the inhale, these are the moments where it's really helpful, because you're doing a lot of twisting and contorting. 2 more breaths. Awesome. Slowly find your way with your arms reaching up high. And then as you exhale, hands come to the inside of the left foot. Spin your right heel up. Left foot meets right foot in a downward dog. Then at your plank pose. And then dropping the knees, the chin, the chest. Come up into your cobra. And then your downward dog for 5 breaths. Two more breaths. Beautiful. As you exhale, walk your feet outside and behind your hands so you're still wide. Walk the hands forward, come up halfway. Fold forward. Heel toe the feet together. Halfway lift here. Fold forward. And then reach the arms up high to the sky as you inhale. Fold as you exhale. Halfway lift. Plant your hands, step your feet back into your wide dog. Same here for 2 breaths, 3 breaths, kind of just setting up our foundation. Great. Lift your right leg high. Step your right foot to the outside of your right hand, bend your right knee. Slowly set your left knee down. I know my quads are tight, so I'm actually going to bring my left knee in a little close. So if you're rolling tight tonight, bring the knee in close to the hip by tucking under the toes and scooting it forward. Okay. From here, the left hand will stay planted. The right knee will come out, but instead of putting your right hand to the inside of your right knee, lift your left foot, bending your left knee, and reach back. So some of us are going to be able to grab our foot. Others of us, it's going to be a nice, gentle reach. Okay, you can look over the right shoulder, but don't dump into the left leg. We are here for 5 breaths. Two more big breaths. And then on your last breath, slowly set everything back down. Bring your arms or hands to the inside of the right foot. Tuck under your left toes. Lift your left foot. And from here, spin your left heel down. And then slowly start straightening your right leg. And then if you want, you can come up onto the fingertips so you have a flat back. So it's kind of an odd pyramid pose, but it gives you this nice hamstring stretch on the right leg. And from here, we're here for about 4 more breaths. And then slowly find your way bending back into your right knee, spinning your left heel up. And then your right foot meets your left into your wide down dog. You're here for 5 breaths. 2 more breaths. And then lift your left leg high. Left foot to the outside of the left hand. Drop your right knee down. And then decide, does your right knee need to be a little bit closer or a little bit farther away from the hip? Kind of depending on what you need as far as the stretch goes. And then you'll gently allow the left knee to roll out to the side. And then bend your right knee and reach back for your right foot. I'm totally mismatched with my left and right, and that's cool. That's fine. So we are here in our corkscrew pose for 5 big breaths, being mindful that you're not dumping your weight onto your right hand. Two more breaths. Last breath. And then slowly find your hands and your left foot planted onto the mat. Tuck under your right toes, lift your right knee, and send your right heel down as you straighten your left leg. And then maybe come up on the fingertips or halfway, just a little bit here. Just so you give yourself some space and you're not folding and collapsing down. Once again, 5 big breaths. Two more. Last one. And then bend into your left knee as you spin your right heel up. Left foot meets right foot, downward dog. Shift forward into your plank pose. Drop the knees, the chin, the chest. Come up into your cobra. And then push back, downward dog, 5 breaths. Two more big breaths here. And then walk your feet to the outside and behind the hands. Come forward, halfway lift. Fold forward, heel toe the feet together. And this time make your peace fingers intersect your big toe and second toe. Plant your big toe onto your peace fingers. Bend your knees. And then find a halfway lift here. And then exhale, fold. And float here for a little bit. You're coming up. And then find some stillness in your forward fold. And then reach your arms up high to the sky as you inhale. Exhale into a mountain. All right, stay here. Beautiful. Reach your arms up high. Fold forward. Halfway lift. Plant the hands, step back into your plank pose. And then drop the knees, the chin, the chest. And bring your arms down to the side. Forehead is onto the mat. Great. When your inhale happens, I want you to reach your fingers towards your toes and lift the chin and lift the chest here. For just a low locus pose. And then spread your fingers nice and wide. One more big breath. And as you exhale, set your forehead onto the mat. Bend your knees so you bring your heels up or your feet up to the sky. And then I want you to kick your heel into your glute and then the opposite one. Sometimes they call this a slumber party pose because it's, you're kicking your feet back and forth kind of in like a cutesy way. And then extend your legs long once again onto the mat. This time you'll come into your full locus pose. So as you inhale, lift your chin, lift your chest, lift your arms, lift your legs. Reach your fingertips towards your feet. If you want, you can have a soft gaze down. Lift a little higher. And then as you exhale, lower down one vertebra at a time. This time, bend your knees, take the heels up to the sky, and windshield wiper your feet from side to side. And then find some stillness. Place your palms underneath your shoulders and push yourself back into your downward dog. Once again, your child's pose. Taking your big toes together and knees come wide. 5 breaths in this child's pose. Great. I want you to make your way into your downward dog, slowly and carefully. This time, have your feet hips distance apart. Raise your right leg high and bring your right knee to your right elbow, shift forward. And then right leg comes high. Right knee, left elbow, shift forward. Right leg comes high. Right knee to nose, round the back. 3-legged downward dog. This time, bring your right knee through to your hands and set yourself up for your pigeon pose. Okay, before you get too far into it, I want you to have your hands underneath your shoulders, come up nice and tall, take your chest forward. You're a proud pigeon here. Take a nice full inhale. And as you exhale, walk forward, coming into a reclined or sleeping pigeon pose for the next 90 seconds. Yay. 30 more seconds. Take your last cycle of breath here. Maybe you sigh out the exhale. And place the hands underneath the shoulders and walk yourself up. And place your right hand underneath your face. Come up nice and tall. And from here, bend your left knee so the left foot is coming up and reach back for your left foot. So this is like the start of a mermaid pose. If you want, you can bring the left foot into the crook of the left elbow. And then see where you're at. One more big breath. And then release your left leg down, both palms underneath the shoulders, tuck under the left toes. Send your right leg back into your three-legged downward dog. And right foot comes down. Great, so now you're in your downward dog. All right, from here, lift your left leg high. Left knee to left elbow, shift forward. Left leg comes high. Left knee, right elbow. Left leg comes high. Left knee to your nose, round your back. Left leg comes high. And then your left knee slips through to your hands, finding your pigeon. Set yourself up. You know, if the knee needs to come further away from the hip or not. Come up nice and tall, nice and proud. Take a nice full cycle of breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly walk yourself forward into your sleeping pigeon pose for the next 90 seconds. Thirty seconds left. Take your last cycle of breath here. Slowly walk yourself up. Place your left palm underneath your face. Bend your right elbow and reach back for your right foot. If you want, if your quads are allowing it, you can always bring the right foot into the crook of the right elbow. That is not in my practice. And then you can bring your arm up overhead and give yourself the beautiful mermaid if the right foot is in the right crook or in the crook of the elbow. That's not going to happen for me today. 3 more big breaths. But that doesn't mean it can't happen for you. So don't let me stop you. Great. Slowly release everything back down. Place both palms underneath your shoulders, tuck under your right toe, and send your left foot high to the sky. And then your feet come down onto the mat. Shift forward into your plank pose. Drop your knees, your chin, your chest. And then flip over onto your back. And then bring your the bottoms of your feet onto your mat, arms to the side. And walk your heels close to your bum so that the fingertips are touching the heels, or they're brushing along the heels. Rock back on the heels, lift and spread the toes, and send your toes down. Maybe rock the pelvis forward and back, but then find that sweet spot. Suss around in the shoulders. Rock the head from side to side. Feel good about this. Okay, when you inhale next, so exhale out fully, and then when your next inhale happens, lift your hips up, press down, press your feet into the mat, and see if you can soften the glutes. So you're in your bridge pose. And from here, I know as a lady, I'm told, don't let your belly stick out, but this is one of my favorite things to do in bridge pose. When I take a full inhale, I like to pooch my belly out, and I like to look to see how big I can make my belly. And then exhale, I let it lower. See if you can do the same thing. Allow yourself to take up space and see if you can, keep the glutes soft as you do this. So as you inhale, pooch up the belly and lower. 3 more. 2 more. Stay strong. The last one, see how big you can make your belly. Take your full inhale. And exhale, lower down 1 vertebra at a time. And knock your knees together. Okay. From here, bring your knees into your chest and take them really wide. So the legs are into the outside of the feet, or the torso, sorry. Take your full inhale, and then as you exhale, allow your knees to fall over to your left side. So your knees aren't totally stacked on top of each other. There should feel a little bit of a difference. I think it's your right knee will be on the top and a little bit closer to your face. And then if you want, you can look out over your right shoulder. 5 big breaths. And then as you inhale, bring your knees back into your chest. Once again, taking them wide as your torso. Settling here for a breath or 2. And then allowing them now to fall over to the right side. So the left leg will be on top and maybe closer. And then it's your choice to look out over your left shoulder. 2 more breaths. And then as you inhale, slowly bring yourself back into center. Hug the knees as wide. And then find yourself into a happy baby pose. So take a hold of the bottoms of the feet. Bend the knees in close to the shoulders. Maybe you rock from side to side. Maybe you just hang out in some stillness. And then for these last few breaths here, find stillness in your happy baby. And then bring the knees in close together. Rock your legs from side to side. Extend one leg long and then the other. And then walk your feet as wide as the mat, maybe even wider. Rock the heels from side to side. Allow your toes to splay out. Bring your arms out as wide as you would like. Take up space. All right, collectively, let's take a full inhale in. Sigh out the exhale. Full inhale. Sigh out your exhale. Full inhale. Exhale. And then stay in your Shavasana. And don't worry, I'm minding the time and I'll call you back. When you're ready to take your next inhale, inhale, take up so much space on your mat. Sigh out your exhale. Full inhale. Sigh out your exhale. If you would like, reach your arms up overhead as you inhale. Give yourself a full body stretch. And then roll over onto your right side as you exhale, coming into a fetal position. Use your left hand to slowly push yourself up, coming up into a seated pose. Place the palms first onto your thighs, sitting up nice and tall, maybe pushing yourself back. And take full cycles of breath here. Reach your arms up really high, spread your fingertips, and then bring your palms together, down in prayer, hands into heart center, and give yourself a soft bow. I honor this place inside of me in which the entire universe dwells. It is a place of peace. It is a place of kindness, and it is a place of love. And when I am in this place in me and you are in this place in you, together we are one. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining.